I would come home, that was oxygen there, and then I come home with it. It took me 6 weeks.
No, no. Yeah, we both told him.
I was,
And inside the car wash looked pretty good too.
they shut down the.
I mean, every day could
Yeah,
change. I
yeah,
know every day
I
can
know.
change. I know, but
They can get
on this day, it looked. On Monday, it looked good.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Grandview Board of Aldermen session. The first item on the agenda is roll call.
Alderman Taylor,
Here.
Alderman Runyons,
Here,
Mayor Jones,
Here.
Alderwoman Bibbs,
Here.
Alderman Hartman,
Here.
Alderman Rousey is absent, and Alderman Maloney is absent. We have quorum.
Thank you very much. The next item is Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand for the pledge and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer for our men and women in harm's way, as well as our public safety members. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very, very much. You may be seated. The next item on the agenda is the approval of tonight's agenda. Is there a motion?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So tonight's agenda has been approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. So let's start with the regular session from November 28, 2023. Is there a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I move that the minutes be approved as printed for regular sessions November 28, 2023.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second that.
Thank you. It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the regular session minutes from November the 28th, 2023 have been approved. Next, is there a motion to approve the special regular session on November 28th, 2023?
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I move that the minutes be approved as printed for special regular sessions November 28, 2023.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Been moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the special regular session from November the 28th, 2023 have been approved. The next area is awards, presentation, organizational business, and today, we have Santa Claus with us. And we are going to recognize by the certificate of recognition Bob Santa Rockford, who has been Grandview Santa Claus for many, many years. He has participated in the mayor's Christmas tree lighting many, many times. He has gone to pancakes with Santa many, many times, and he has graced our fire department and our fire trucks many, many times, bringing him to the different functions. So tonight, we're going to recognize him for all that he's done. As he comes forth, his wife and his daughter will be coming with him. Santa knows how to make an entrance. I mean, it's just, nobody can make an entrance like Santa. It is what it is. And we do appreciate all that you do. Merry Christmas. Santa, do you know who's been naughty and who's been nice? Yes. I knew you would. There is no doubt that he knows who's been naughty and who's been nice. It's just how that works. So
You see them all smile out there?
yes, sir. That's the real deal. Okay. Fantastic. We're going to let you introduce your wife and your daughter as well. And first, I'm going to read this certificate. It says, presented in recognition of Bob Santa Rockford, bringing joy to the city of Grandview, and many, many Mayor's Christmas tree lightings, and bringing the magic of Christmas to Grandview families at breakfast with Santa. So, sir, we are indeed grateful for all that you do and all that you continue to do. And I'm going to give this to your wife, and we're going to let you do what you do best.
This is my wife, Debbie, and my daughter, Erin. Erin teaches at Belvedere. She's the art teacher there. How many years you been there? My 23rd year.
And we are just grateful for all that has done. Now, any of you that have family on Saturday, we have breakfast and pancakes with Santa. So do bring your kids out and have a great time. There's all types of activities that Parks and Rec is doing. And needless to say, Santa is the main, yes, pancakes are there. Yes, other things are there. However, Santa is the main attraction. So we are grateful again for all that you do and doing. And the Board of Aldermen would like to thank you as well. And once again, thank you for sharing him with us. Absolutely. Thank you again. Absolutely. And we will send pictures. Absolutely. Yeah, that's about it. Come on. Because we work with us. Does everybody have their Christmas list in already? Because this is the time. We've got Santa right here.
Tonight's delivery.
Okay, we've got Santa here with us, so now is the time.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh.
What a blessing to have Santa come by our Board of Aldermen meeting. We do appreciate that. The next item we have is public comment. Anyone who would like to address the Board of Aldermen, please step up to the mic and state your name and address and do sign in. And you have 3 minutes per our codes. However, this is not, if you're here for the public hearing, you need to wait until the public hearing. So this is for public comment. The time is 7:07, so I declare public comment open. Anyone who would like to address the Board of Aldermen for anything other than the public hearing? I don't see anyone else up, so we declare public comment closed, and we go straight to the public hearing. And this is a public hearing for the amending of the boundaries and removal of property from the Sunrise Farms Community Improvement District. And the time is 7:07 still, and Carrie has stepped up to the mic.
Good evening. I just wanted to give a quick overview about what the public hearing is for tonight. There was a petition filed regarding the Sunrise Farms Community Improvement District. As a reminder, the Community Improvement District, or CID, was created in 2008. It has a lifespan of 50 years, unless it is dissolved prior to that. At the time it was created, there was authorized to be imposed $175 in special assessments per residential lot per year. There's also an amount of special assessments that could be imposed for commercial lots. The special assessments are not currently being imposed. They have not been imposed for at least a decade. As you might recall, the initial developer of Sunrise Farms in 2008, it has changed since then. We do not have the same people in charge of the CID, and when the sale happened, I think that the intention to do the special assessments ended, but the authority to impose it still exists technically. A petition was filed, and under Missouri law, anybody who resides in a CID can petition to have their property removed and have the boundaries of the CID changed. There are steps outlined in the law. One of those steps is that every property owner in the district has to receive a certified letter. I've received several phone calls over the last few weeks with people a little concerned because they've received certified mail. It's just the way that the state makes us do it in any situation. The next step is to have a public hearing, which is what we're having tonight. After that, it would be up to the board if they want to consent to the boundary change or not. Again, I want to reiterate that every property owner in the CID has the right to do this. We are here tonight on a petition that has been filed by the owners of 40 residential lots and then 2 additional undeveloped lots. I have the attorney who filed the petition for the property owners here, as well as representatives of the property owners. This is a map of the overall Sunrise Farms CID, and the shaded property on the left side is the area that the petition is for. It is to remove all of those shaded areas from it. It will not affect any of the remaining properties in the CID. At this time, if you'd like to, I can have the attorney who filed the petition give a brief summary of what's going on.
I definitely would like for that to
Okay.
occur.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Brian.
And as a matter of fact, whoever else from the team that's going to be up here, let them come up and, again, state your name, your address, and we'll proceed from there.
And Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to state, there's a lot of people here who probably don't come every Tuesday night, and I just wanted to state so that everybody knew I'm Carrie Reed, I'm the city attorney.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Mr. Mayor, members of the Board of Aldermen, good evening. My name is Brian Engel. I'm an attorney with the Rouse, Fretz, White, Goss law firm, and we are located at 4510 Bellevue in Kansas City. And as Carrie mentioned, I am representing the 2 property owners that submitted the petition to the city requesting removal of the property that was shown on the map. Can we?
Okay, get a little closer to the microphone.
Get closer, yeah.
My apologies. Can we go back to the map? Thank you. So, as Carrie mentioned, the CID was originally approved in 2008, and there was a mixed-use project planned at that time that never was developed. There were approximately 90 single-family homes that were built within the district, but in about 2014, the property changed hands, the undeveloped property, and it was acquired by PG LLC, who is the current owner of most of the property that you see on the map, the undeveloped property. And I believe in 2016, the city approved the Gateway Village tax increment financing plan in support of a project, a large mixed-use project to bring in a large tournament sports facility to the property, as well as some related commercial development. And of course, that project was not developed either. And so all of this time, the CID has been in existence and was starting in probably about 2014, became inactive. And so when the TIF plan was approved in 2016, the CID was resurrected briefly, but has not met since then. So it's been inactive since 2016, except for last month when the CID board met to approve and consent to the filing of the petition that is before the city now. And so in 2021, the owner of the undeveloped land sold the property that is being requested to be removed from the CID to the current owners of that property. And there is currently planned 40 single-family houses to be constructed on that site, and I believe construction is already underway. And so we are here tonight to be available to answer any questions that the board may have or members of the public may have, and also wanted to introduce Kelly Tobin. He is with he's counsel for Ward Development, and also Luke White, who is Vice President of Ward Development.
Okay. You gentlemen, anything you have to add?
Well,
No,
you know,
just
just
state your name and address
Sure.
as you sit down so everybody can hear
Sure.
what's been said. Thank you.
Briefly, my name's Kelly Tobin, and it's fairly simple what we're asking for. There's been a CID listed as a encumbrance on this property now for quite a long time. It's never been activated. It's never done anything. It's part of an antiquated development plan that's no longer in use or being used. And simply, we just want to free up the property from the restrictions so it could be more sellable. That's basically it.
Okay, thank you.
Luke White, 1120 Northwest Eagle Ridge Boulevard, Green Valley. Our intent here is to create a mechanism for governing these 40 lots via an HOA that seems more appropriate than this CID, and to preempt any question from the neighbors. No, this will not mean some increased levy from your HOA or your participation in the CID on our behalf. It's also a mechanism that is available to you independently of us and is fairly simple to go through this process, but simply stated, the CID doesn't seem to have rationale for continued existence on these lots.
Okay, thank you very much. Carrie, anything before I ask the board for input?
Just briefly, I just want to be clear to everyone here that this is a petition filed by the CID. This is not something that the city or city staff is putting forth. The board ultimately has the decision about amending the boundaries of the CID, but the special assessment, if it were even to be imposed, it's not for the city. The city is not gaining anything from the CID special assessment or anything like that. I just want to make it clear what the city's role is in this.
Sure. On my left side, any questions that Alderman Taylor or Runyons, you guys have? Yes.
Just, Carrie, you said 50 years?
Yes, this one was designed to last 50 years.
Okay. And nothing has been collected.
I have not found evidence of it. I know that it has not been collected at least since the sale to the new developer, which occurred in 2014.
Now, I know, and I think it was in 2021, that there was some changes to the CID statute where there's a 26-year limit on CIDs that went into effect.
There were a lot of changes that occurred. This was under the old laws that existed prior to that, though.
Yeah, but this was like 2 years ago, they changed the statute, so you couldn't have a CID any longer than 21 years. I mean 26 years. That doesn't occur to what's there, but there should be some way statute-wise to, when a CID has not been in effect for 17 years, 18 years, that it should be dissolved with a lot of, the board should be able to dissolve this whole CID.
There are mechanisms to do that, Alderman Runyons. It involves a majority of the property owners basically coming forward and requesting that the CID be dissolved. At this time, that has not happened.
So as the board, could we help them get to that point? Because, you know, the CID is not good for that area. Of course, I'm never a CID fan anyway, but that's what I think we need. As a board, we should help the current landowners get out of this CID so we can move forward.
So do you have any questions for Carrie or staff?
That's what I'm asking her, if she's got
Yeah.
these. Can we do that?
Well, the property owners are the ones that need
Yeah.
to sign and have an affidavit
the
and
city.
put forth a petition to the city.
Yeah.
But as a good neighbor, we should be able to some way help them.
I'm I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Obviously, I will answer any questions anybody has. I don't know that. If I will do whatever the board asks, and we can look into whether or not it would be appropriate for the city to kind of navigate and direct that. But that would be if the property owners wanted to do so. I don't think that we know at this time what everybody wants to do. If that's what everybody wanted to do, or a majority of the property owners, then a simple petition could be filed to dissolve the CID.
I think it's,
Well,
we need to help.
well, it's two different things. It's a request, but this is not a city function. You know, this is a,
But most of these homeowners just found out in the last month
yes.
Sure.
that they were in this. They weren't aware when they bought the property.
Right.
So the city has some responsibility when somebody moves into that they should know what's going on. That's my point.
Well, we will, but do you have any questions? Any questions?
Alderman Runtians, if I may clarify, are you asking that does the city's board have authority to, on behalf of the property owner, eliminate the CID obligation for them? Is that the question? I just wanted to clarify.
No, I think that they should have been notified when they bought the house, but we don't
I'm pretty
have to
sure
get
they were in
official-
a
we
fine
don't have
print.
to get official
Well,
help, but we need to give them some direction so they can get out of this.
Hold on. Are you through with your questions? I want to make sure I get to the questions first. On this side, Alderwoman Bibbs or Alderman Hartman, any questions you have?
No, not right now.
And you know, Carrie, thank you for putting the slide up there, at least letting us be aware, because I too was unaware that that was there. Although I don't live in that subdivision, but I too was unaware that that existed. So this was news to me as well. So it's important to hear that there's a path forward for anyone willing to follow the path. So that's important. This is a public hearing. Anyone would like to come up and address the Board of Aldermen, please stand up and get behind the mic. Everybody can line up behind the mic that wants to address the Board of Aldermen. When you finish addressing, I need you to sign in with Mackenzie. She's got a chart right there. So you sign in your name and address so that we have record of what has transpired. And if you would, speak as loud as you can because this is being recorded. So, sir.
All right, thank you for your time. Craig Sheets, 7500 East 143rd. Get it over here. To clarify, everyone is very, very familiar of the CID. It is not unknown to anyone. I brought copies with it. It's been a discussion. Everyone here is fully aware of it. It's literally part of the process of purchasing a home inside the HOA. We're all fully aware of it. So there's no knowledge gap there. So for over 15 years, we've been building a diverse community of families of all ages. Every family that purchased a lot did so with the understanding agreement that the HOA, CC&Rs that we have here, that these are the rules we're going to follow as a community. This is what guides our behavior, how we treat each other, how we treat our lawns, how we treat our properties. Everyone knows these exist, and we all like them. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'm quite certain everyone here, we are in favor of this. What we're not in favor of is what's happening is someone has purchased a little over a third of the remainder of the property. They want to throw these out the window so that they can create their own rules, the most notable of which is that we do not allow rentals within our community. They want to allow rentals within the community, and we don't want to have short-term or long-term rentals. Half of the neighbors, if you look here, half of our community will be sharing backyards with neighbors who are not bound by the same restrictions that we're bound by. So, Mr. Runs, we are not looking for assistance to get out of this at all. Much the opposite. We're looking for assistance in enforcing it for everyone in the same way. This is a very poor time for them to renegotiate the rules of the property upon which they're building homes. They have pulled permits, they have begun construction, and now they want to renegotiate the rules that they would be bound to when it comes to renting these properties out or treating them or mistreating them or whatever it is they intend to do with them. All we're asking for is the enforcement of the CID and CC&Rs. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you leave, any questions?
So you say, is this the homeowners association that you're speaking about?
Yes. Well, is related to the community improvement district, yes,
Okay, and.
which
and
is
you-
Sunrise Farms.
So it's homeowners association is in effect right now.
That's correct.
Okay,
And
that
many
we
of our
didn't
board
know.
members are here tonight.
We
to
weren't
speak.
aware of, the board up here was not aware of that.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify right as out of the start, that this is not a case of some people not knowing about some mysterious thing that probably just needs to go away. It's a problem, and in fact, it's exactly the opposite.
So are you currently, you're not collecting this $175?
Yes, we are. Yes, and I don't know if we have treasury and.
Well, hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on.
now we're
One person speaking, and Alderman Runyons is asking questions. So.
The dues are being collected annually from all members. There is a special assessment that I do understand that has not been collected. I believe is correct. I'm probably not the best authority for that, but.
So if I can reiterate, you're saying that the HOA dues are being collected.
Correct.
But the CID is not being collected.
Is that correct? Okay.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that
Thank you.
everybody understood the difference.
Yep.
So
Okay. Thank you.
one other, is this shaded area part of the homeowners association?
Yes, it is. It is documented today. This shaded area is the area that is under current development. The area in dispute today as to whether it remains part of the HOA and the CID that everything else shown is, or if they're allowed to throw these rules out, create new rules altogether.
So and your HOA does not allow rentals?
That's correct.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So just to be clear, let me state this again. So HOA dues are being collected in Sunrise Farms, and right now, the CID lately has not. Correct?
I don't want to speak authoritatively, but
Okay.
that's what I'm hearing
Okay.
from
All
other
right.
board members, yes.
And I want to make sure I understand from you guys, is these shaded lots in an HOA or not? That was the question on the table from last week.
I can't answer that question.
I can.
I can say that
Well, hold on.
that the CID is separate from the HOA. And so the petition that has been submitted to remove the shaded property from the CID does not have any impact on any CC&Rs that are in effect. The CID is just a overlay district on top of the existing HOA and the CC&Rs. And Mr. White can probably answer more succinctly or helpfully on the issue with the CC&Rs with respect to their new lots. But the petition that has been submitted does not do anything with respect to those CC&Rs.
Okay, so just to be clear, I just want to, I'm a simple man. So the question is, I'm hearing that you're saying that the HOA covers the shaded area. That's what I'm hearing. Did I hear that correctly? Sir?
Are you asking me? Yes, it very much does. I have documentation of its lots 1 through 92, tracks A, B, C, D, and E of Sunrise Farms first plat. Yeah, it's documented here, and I've looked up the lot numbers that 100% covers. But it's described as a community improvement. The CID and the CC&Rs are one and the same, as I would come to understand it through legal help.
And again, I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if we got a copy of that so that, A, we have it for our records, but B, so that you guys see what is being said as well.
Good luck, I brought 2.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. I do appreciate that. And again, this is a public hearing. So any other questions on my right? Okay. You got another one? Yes.
From what we understood last week in our work session, that you wanted out of the CID so that you could set up your own homeowners association meeting?
Yes, if I may, I'd like to respond to both of you. So this is the second plat. We are not governed by the same HOA nor the same CC&Rs. We have recorded CCRs. It pertains to lots 1 through 40. and I think they were filed on April 28th or something, but we're unrelated. We're not bound by the same regulations. You, as homeowners, would benefit from this CID being removed from your lots also, but we are not bound by the same HOA or CCRs. And so we're kind of talking apples to oranges. This is, in whatever capacity these houses are ultimately used, have no effect on the CID removal.
So what I have recorded here, there are lots 1 through 92.
First plat.
And you're just telling me it's a separate plat of 92, that you
No.
bought 42.
1 through 40,
1
second
through
plat.
40.
And again, I think we need to,
Yep, get to the bottom.
we need to, yes, exactly. We need to boil this down so that we can truly understand and comprehend. But again, this is a public hearing. This is the purpose for the public hearing. Anyone else would like to address the public hearing, please step up and state your name and address. Again, we've got a lot of folks sitting out there. If you need to address or want to address, you need to get in line, because as soon as he finishes, I will probably be closing the public hearing. So,
My name is Tim Gordon, 7705 East 143rd Terrace. I live within Sunrise Farms. And I guess all I just had to say is that I'm not sure why some residential properties would be taken out and some be kept, and there's been conversations of, well, it's not really active, it's not doing anything. Then when it gets turned back on, if it does, I've talked with the gentleman in I think it's economic development up there, and he said there's still conversations. They're getting closer to closing on something, and so it'll get turned back on once something gets going, would be my presumption. So either everybody feel the pain or everybody get out. But if the whole conversation is, well, it's not really active, then let's dissolve the whole thing. And I understand they're just working for their 40 lots, but it'd be nice if they don't want it, then we work to just close the whole thing down. Instead of some of us paying when it gets turned back on, because it was, they were collecting, I think the last they collected was 2012 or 2013, so it's been a while, but it was turned on, so they know how to do it. And something that was just said, and I might have misunderstood, it sounded like the gentleman at the end that's with the ownership said, well, we're looking at getting rid of the CID so we can have a home association, but that's the whole thing, is they have nothing to do with each other. So I'm not sure I understand that comment, but I might have missed out, because you can be part of the CID and have your own home association. The other thing is...
What I meant is I'm not bound by the same HOA or
Right.
same CCRs.
So you having the CID or it being
It's an
dissolved
overlay.
has nothing to do with you having a home association and
Correct.
whatever.
Correct.
Right. So if the CID doesn't get dissolved, it has no bearing on any of that, if I understand it correctly.
No bearing
On the HOA and moving forward with whatever
Correct.
you guys, yeah. And I guess since they are talking about possibly still doing the soccer stuff, is that when it gets turned on, that we'll be paying the special assessment, and whatever benefits come of it, those 40 houses and those lots will get the same benefits as in if we're doing roads or doing whatever, that there's going to be something. And I guess it just comes down to, let's either dissolve it, as Board Member Runyon's talked about, if the city can help us, because instead of hiring an attorney and all that and all the costs involved, because this isn't stuff done cheap. It's not that we can just go around, have everybody sign a piece of paper and come to the city hall and have it dissolved. It costs money. And so I guess that's all it comes down to is if we want to dissolve it, which I'm fine with dissolving the CID, but then let's dissolve it for everybody instead of just those 40 houses.
thank you, sir.
I don't like to be left holding the bag.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Good to see you again.
I would like,
We need to come on up. Yes. Yes.
Hello, my name is Walter Wallace.
You'll get
I
a
moved here about 1 year ago from Washington State because of my son and his family and other things. But 1 year ago, I bought my home in Sunrise Farms, and it's right, the new homes are adjacent to my backyard, and I had no idea this was going to happen. I went out one day and talked to the construction workers, and they all told me that a Chinese investment firm bought the property. They hired a contractor. They're building all these houses, and they're going to be rental houses. They're going to get around $2,200 a month for them. I mean, these guys laid it all out to me, and I was shocked. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, in my backyard? I've only been here a year. I didn't know anything about this up here. This is all news to me. Had I known this, I wouldn't have bought the house.
Thank you, sir. Sign in, please, right here.
My name is Andy Nicholson. I live at 14401 Richmond Avenue, and for the sake of some of us, I think it would be helpful to
Can you get
help us-
closer to the mic?
I think it would be helpful to help some of us understand the difference in the CID and our homeowners association. I don't quite understand that, so I'd love to have some further explanation on that and try to understand. Well, I would just say we've heard what he has heard, that they're wanting to turn all of those houses into rental properties, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for a lot of us that we're not in favor of that. So we just want to let the board know. I'm on the board of the Sunrise Farms Homeowners Association, and most of the people I've spoken to are not in favor of having 40 rental homes adjacent to our properties. We're very concerned about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Richard Okawa III. I live at...
Get a little closer.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't need this. I have a big voice.
Okay.
Yeah,
pull it up then.
yeah, I'm at 7509 East 143rd Terrace. Mine is more questions, actually. One for the city attorney that mentioned, I believe they mentioned that the Board of Aldermen cannot dissolve the CID unilaterally, but apparently have the rights to redraw it. I wanted to just ask that question, if that is correct.
The Board of Aldermen has the deciding vote as to whether or not to redraw the lines, but that only happens after a petition from the property owners. A similar process has to happen to dissolve the CID. If the property owners, a majority of the property owners, put forth a petition to the board could then dissolve it. So it's not done on the board's own. It's only done as a response to actions from the property owners.
Sounds to me like it's up to the board, which means even if the property owners say dissolve, the board can say nah, right?
Yes,
Okay, yeah. There's that question.
but there would be, just to tack onto that, there would be no reason to if all of the obligations of the CID were met.
Right.
And in this instance, I believe they all are at this time.
Okay, and then question for the attorney for the landowners. So this is Sunrise Farms' second plat, and I believe one of you mentioned you had already filed for an HOA for the 40 parcels, or you're going to?
No, we have recorded a declaration of restrictions, the CCNRs.
Right.
And I think it was August 5th or 8th or something like that of this year, and it already presupposes the creation of a HOA to govern it. So that's already in our restrictions.
Got it. And so in that case, it's up to the developer to then go ahead and follow through and decide what to do after that, correct?
What do you mean, in regards to the CID or governance of the?
Yes, the bylaws and whatever they need
Correct.
to set up.
And they are publicly available on the
Okay.
Recorder of Deeds website.
Okay, got it. All right. That's it for me. Thank you.
My name is Ellen Himes. I live at 14336 Overhill Avenue in Sunrise Farms. I just want to be clear, are these indeed rentals?
I have this property, or these 40 lots, under contract. There is a confidentiality clause in the contract that I would breach if I told you. I'm not
come
going
on.
to be sued for that.
We can't know that?
I can't disclose anything about it.
Mayor, I saw you at a concert, I think it was last summer, and I asked you, are these going to be rentals? And you said, no way.
And when was that again? When was that?
Does it matter?
It does. Very important.
Last summer.
Last summer. What was the status last summer, sir?
Farm ground.
Okay, farm ground. So they were starting to build. What we heard is what I told you. Okay?
Why?
Candidly, I don't know
Then I
what
would
they are going to
anticipate
do
that
with
our
it.
property value from now on will be going down every year. And the taxes, if we have rental homes in our backyard. Make sense?
Yeah. So, but I just want to make sure you understood what I said.
Well, you were pretty emphatic.
Yes, because that's exactly what we heard, and that's exactly what
Was
we
that
were
your
told.
sentiment, that you were against rental properties in Sunrise Farms?
No,
You
the
said
question-
no way.
Well, the question
Like,
was,
in
what
fact,
was
you
it
said-
going to be?
Pardon me?
Okay. The question was, what is it going to be? And I said, we've heard from the owners, and at that point in time, it was Ward, whatever the name of the group was, and they were building homes, single-family homes, to be sold to individuals. So, yes, that's exactly what I said.
I took it from your response that you were not in favor of
Well,
the rentals.
and I appreciate
That's just
that.
my
Yes.
impression of your
Mhm.
response. Another thing that some of us homeowners would like to request is a privacy fence then be built. Because we all know what the backyards of these rentals are going to look like.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, sir.
My name's Travis Dammy. I live at 14341 Richmond Avenue, and I just wanted to echo the sentiment earlier. I'm raising my family in the neighborhood, and it's one of the nicest neighborhoods in Grandview. And one of the reasons for that is because of the HOA and the bylaws. And the main thing that I'm here to voice is that I would prefer that there wouldn't be rentals right next to us. That's all.
Thank you very much. Do appreciate that. And are there any other questions outstanding? Any other answers need to be given that you guys have? All right, this is the last individual for the public hearing. So, yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Bob Terry. I live at 14500 Richmond Avenue in Summit, Sunrise Farms. My lot is the third lot up from the corner of 146th Street and Richmond. It's the third lot up, and it backs up to the property that is the subject of this discussion. And I guess I second the motion on a privacy fence. I think that would be real helpful. And I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen immediately behind our homes, because there are utilities that run through there, electrical wiring and such. And another concern that I have is runoff, because the lot that's directly behind mine is about 4 feet higher than mine, and it all slopes down pointing to my property, and I'm concerned about runoff. And there are others that, along in that, especially in that area, that would have the same problem. So
Thank you.
I mean, evidently the developers aren't here, but if I could find out what's going to happen in that regard, that would be great. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Will do. The time is 7:42, so I declare the public hearing closed. Yes.
No,
Yes.
It's closed?
Well, do you have comment?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I thought you was going to go around.
Oh. Well, let's start on the right side, then the left side. Okay.
I am thoroughly confused, and to put it lightly, and I want to address this to the guys that's doing this project. You can't answer questions for confidentiality.
The specifics of the 40 lots that I have under contract, who the buyer is, what their intended use, which I would only be guessing at, no, I can't answer questions about that. I can answer what's being built, and we built them.
Well, I was under the impression, like this lady that talked up here, that from our city manager, that these were going to be individual homes. Now they're coming out as rentals. I am not a big fan of more rentals up against a residential area. I feel just like they do. And what kind of gets me is when somebody comes in here and says they can't give me an answer because of this or that, that's not transparency to me. I'm speaking my mind, not the rest of the board. I'm speaking my mind. So in other words, there's a big question mark now on how I feel about this whole project. I don't think I have been, well, I don't need any fanfare, but I'm just saying, when this came through City Hall, and we all talked about that when they started, you showed us pictures, these houses, now they're rentals or possibly an owner owning and renting, and yeah, so they're gonna be rentals. I mean, it looks like to me what I've heard here tonight.
I'm
And I'm
sorry,
just saying,
sir.
I'm just kind of confused on how this got to this point. So I don't know how I'm going to vote in the future. So
Well,
I just want to get that off.
I can tell you exactly how it came to this point. We, as a developer, had the idea for building out these 40 single-family lots. And we have a realtor arm within our organization, and we also sometimes do investment sales. We have multiple buyers across many spectrums. And so from the ideation of the project to who ultimately becomes the buyer, there are transaction costs associated with each step of the way. And in our own best interest, we try to market each of these developments to whomever we think we are going to make the best profit from. And candidly, sometimes that's a retail buyer that's a one-off individual. Sometimes it's an investment group that wants to start with a lower margin and still move them through realtors and flip them, and sometimes it becomes rental product. Candidly, I don't know what they will do with it in many of the circumstances. We just, as a developer, are incentivized to choose the highest and best offer. I don't have control over what they do with the property.
And I guess that's where we differ, because I'm sitting here representing the people of Grandview. So that's how I'm looking at it. You're trying to make $1, or you just said your people, or whoever you're representing, the best financial end that they could do. So I am representing the people, and I need more information for, I don't know. I got to sleep on this and think about it, and really give it some thought on really what's going on. That's just my opinion. So.
Good, appreciate it.
Go ahead.
Do you have anything?
Debbie?
I'm just a little uncomfortable as well with the possibility that it could be, maybe, you don't know for sure, about the rental. I'm just not comfortable with that. I know I wouldn't want rental property behind my property as well if I was owning the property.
I understand that, but what is the bearing of that on the CID removal? I don't understand how those are related.
Well, hold on. Do you have any questions?
The focus on whether or not it's a rental product, I don't understand the bearing of the questions on the removal of the CID enforcement within the project that is already zoned by right and approved.
Brian, you were going to say something, then I'm going to.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And did have a couple of points that I wanted to follow up on. And also to reiterate what Luke White just said about the petition that is before the city now has the only purpose is to remove it from the CID so that that property is no longer subject to a special assessment, or the CID also has a sales and use tax. And so by carving that property out, those properties will no longer be subject to any future imposition of an assessment or being taxed to the extent that they may apply by the sales and the use tax from the CID. And there's been some discussion also about dissolving the district, and there is a procedure in the statute for dissolving the district, and it is actually the mirror reverse of how the district was formed. It requires at least greater than 50% of the property owners within the district per capita and by assessed values, submitting a petition to the city for approval. There would be a second, there would have to be a public hearing and so forth. There also has to be action by the CID board. And that's where I want to bring up an alternative, because the current owner of the undeveloped land, as has been mentioned, has been in discussions with the city about moving forward with a project. And so there is some benefit to keeping the CID in place for whatever that future project looks like, likely commercial. But that does not mean that the established subdivision through the HOA could submit a petition to carve out those existing subdivision parcels as well. And so that is something that could be explored more thoroughly, and that is something that I've talked with city staff about. And so that's an alternative to also consider, and I think that could be done without an attorney.
All right.
And
Closing comments here. Yes.
And at the work session last week, and this is a question, we were presented that if we removed those 40 lots from the CID, that they could develop a homeowners association for the whole area that would be better than the CID. But then we come in here tonight and these folks say they've already have a homeowners association, which these 40 lots are part of. So you've got us all lost. I think we need a lot of clarification and several more work sessions to see what is really going on.
We are unrelated to their established homeowners association and the CCRs. We are not governed by the same documents. Ours are recorded. We have a separate set of CCRs, and they also stipulate that we will create our own HOA. We will be proximate, but we will always be separate.
But we didn't know. We don't know that. Everything is we, and then like Alderman Hartman said, you can't answer some questions. Are they for sale? Are they rentals? So
that's
got
all
us,
recorded documents.
You've put us in a bad position to make decisions by not being transparent with everything that's going on. So I need clarification, official clarification, whether your portion is in the homeowners association, it's existing, or if it's not.
I can provide you the instrument number for the recorded document that governs our CCRs, so you can see that we are completely separate entities.
Well, we have more work to be done, no doubt about that. And I just need to mention, that Alderman Maloney and Alderman Rousey are not here. They had a number of questions as well. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here, but we still will have information that we will gather, and I think Holly's already made copies of the documents, so we get a chance to review them as well. And again, this was not a meeting to have a discussion that we voted on. This is a meeting for information because it's a public hearing. So that's the purpose of the public hearing. So again, the public hearing is closed. It is 7:53. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the information. The next item is consent items. Is there a motion for consent items E through K? Consent items E through K.
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
I move that we approve consent items E through K as written.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor.
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Mayor.
Alderman Runyons.
On the $66,000 for the 911
Yes.
consoles, is that part of the money that we received from Jackson County? And
Yes.
how much money did we receive from Jackson County?
$350,000+.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, Alderman Runyons, you guys approved that a month ago or so, the total amount?
Yes.
And this is part of that money.
Well, reason I asked, one of the legislators told me the other night that they give us 400,000.
I can't hear you. Say that again. 351.
So we may have to go back and get some more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we did not get 400,000. I'm sorry.
And I can tell you, Alderman Runyons, that Chief was there and some of his staff when the legislator says 150,000. And I was there with Jamal when they said 150,000 the week before. So I don't know where 400,000 came from, but I'd like the other 50,000 would be helpful.
And that was the legislator that represents us.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. With that said, Alderman Runyons, happy to have that name and a phone number.
Yeah.
I can claim
I have his phone.
$49,000 tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I'm all, Charlie, can you use another $50,000 in the? Okay. Yes, but I like 400 better. So.
But I think what you are confusing with on this case is that we asked for a few other things that hasn't been approved yet. Maybe he was referring to those amounts. Those are the ones from leftover funds, the ARPA funds that they have. They are still holding on to it, and we got 3 or 4 applications.
I told him we needed more money.
We'll take him.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the consent items E through K have been approved. The next area is ordinances. Is there a motion for bill number 7744? Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7744 be placed on its first reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Bill number 7744, an ordinance approving a Missouri Department of Conservation grant agreement for design and engineering services for the Harry S. Truman Presidential Trail and authorizing payment.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman.
Aye.
Alderman Runyons.
Aye.
Motion for second reading.
Mayor,
Alderman Hartman.
I move that bill number 7744 be placed on its second reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderwoman
I
Bibbs.
second.
Bill number 7744, an ordinance approving a Missouri Department of Conservation grant agreement for design and engineering services for the Harry S. Truman Presidential Trail and authorizing payment.
Any discussion?
Mayor, just one.
Alderman Runyons.
What is the grant total and how much is the city?
There it is right there.
Good evening.
Okay.
Yeah, so the grant total will receive $55,489.50 in reimbursements for reimbursable cost, and then the city's portion is another 50% of that as well. So our portion is $55,489.50.
Thank you.
So,
Any? Yes.
We could buy a lot of concrete with $55,000.
Yeah. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman.
Aye.
Alderman Runyons.
Aye.
Motion for second reading?
That was,
Oh,
that was second.
that was
Final
second reading.
passage.
Final
Mayor.
reading. Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7744 be placed on its final reading and said bill be enacted.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderwoman
I
Bibbs.
second.
Thank you.
Okay. Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman.
Aye.
Alderman Rousey.
Not here. Runyons.
Runyons. My apologies.
Yeah.
Ordinance number 7484.
So bill number 7744 has passes now. Ordinance 7484. And again, thank you, Jared. It's nice to get these grants that we can do a lot of things with. So appreciate it. Is there a motion for bill number 7745?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
I move that bill number 7745 be placed on its first reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second that.
Bill number 7745, an ordinance accepting conveyance of right-of-way from South Casey Properties LLC associated with the minor subdivision of JCS CJ Williams Edition, directing recording.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman.
Aye.
Alderman Runyons.
Aye.
Motion for second reading.
Mayor,
Alderman Runyons.
I move that bill 7745 5 be placed on second reading.
Is there a second?
Mayor.
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Bill number 7745, an ordinance accepting conveyance of right-of-way from South Casey Properties LLC associated with the minor subdivision of JCS CJ Williams Addition, directing recording.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion for final passage.
Mayor.
Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7745 be placed on its final passage and the said bill be enacted.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor.
Alderman Hartman.
Second that.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Runyon,
Aye.
and Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Ordinance number 7485.
So bill number 7745 is passed. It's now ordinance 7485. Is there a motion on bill number 7746?
Mayor.
Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7746 be placed on its first reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor.
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second that.
Bill number 7746, an ordinance authorizing the execution of an agreement with Trek Design Group LLC for design and bidding services for 147th Street Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project and authorizing payment.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Alderman Taylor.
I've spoken with Jamal, and I want to get with Doug about this. We have one street that needs some immediate attention, and that's 130th Street. So I just, when we're done, I'd like to.
chat.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
But any questions on this one?
No, this one,
Okay.
I like to prioritize it,
Okay.
and this one
Yeah.
becomes second.
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderwoman Bibbs,
Aye.
and Alderman Runyon.
Aye.
Motion for second reading.
Mayor,
Alderman Runyon.
I move that bill 7746 be placed on second reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
I second.
Thank you.
Bill number 7746, an ordinance authorizing the execution of an agreement with Trek Design Group LLC for design and bidding services for 147th Street Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project and authorizing payment.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion for final passage.
Mayor.
Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7746 be placed on its final passage and said bill be enacted.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor.
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Runyon,
Aye.
Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Ordinance number 7486.
So bill number 7746 has passed. It's now ordinance 7486. Is there a motion on bill number 7747?
Mayor.
Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7747 be placed on its first reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor.
You can't
Okay.
second. But I like that thought. I like that thought. I'm with you.
Mayor.
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Bill number 7747, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a traffic engineering assistance program agreement with Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the utilization of federal funds on intersections traffic study.
And Doug, would you give us a short update on this one so that at least those in the audience can understand what this one is?
Doug Wessel-Schmidt, Public Works Director. What this particular item is it's funding that we applied for and received from MoDOT to do a couple of traffic studies. This funding source is primarily for mid to smaller cities that don't have traffic engineering expertise in order to conduct these type of studies, traffic counts, things like that. So what we submitted to them was taking a look at two intersections in some of the approaching streets to those intersections, one being the intersection of Harry Truman Drive in the east to west direction, Food Lane and Byers in the north-south direction. And then the other one is doing some studies in the area around Corrington and 132nd Street. Stop warrant analysis in that area. So how this funding works is that it provides 80% of the cost to do the studies, and city would pick up the 20%.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion?
Mayor?
Alderman Hartman.
Yeah, I had some questions, Doug. What's the total cost of this study?
The total cost would be.
Is it 14,000? Is they're paying 11? You
right,
said
right, yeah.
You said they were going to pay 11.2 or up to, so that would be 40 or 80% of 14,000, I think.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, and how were these two intersections picked for this study? As I don't recall any public complaints at our meetings about these two intersections, so I was just wondering how whoever picked these two
Yeah, we submitted these last year, and MoDOT chose to fund other city requests, so we didn't get that last year. So last year, when we wrote it up, it was based on just general input we have received from citizens over the years.
Have we had any accidents at those intersections?
I'm sure we've had accidents at the Byers and Food Lane. I'm not aware of any accidents in that the 132nd in Corrington. It was more of a trying to determine, should we have a two-way stop there, a four-way stop there, as well as some of the other intersections in that area. It's semi-close to as a connector out to Byers.
Well, Doug, in your opinion, on the 132nd in Corrington, what do you think the issue is there? Because I drove that a couple times yesterday and today, and I looked at that, and what I observed, there's no signs on 132nd from Winchester to Byers, and this intersection is about halfway between Byers and Winchester. It's a two-way.
Yeah. There were concerns and questions raised to me, and I let the residents know that, until we couldn't make any changes that they suggested until we had a traffic study done there, and without the ability to do that in-house, this was our opportunity to do that. Now, out of the funding that we're receiving, the majority of the cost is the study up at Food Lane and Byers.
But we can't put up a speed limit sign without doing a study, or?
That is correct.
Yeah.
We can't put one speed limit sign up?
Not per the MUTCD. You have to have a warrant to do that.
Well, the reason I'm asking that is because the city put a speed limit sign across from my house when I was complaining about me and my neighbor Ed, about the traffic going by the school. They did come put a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit sign catty corner from my house. But my suggestion was, when I looked at that intersection over there, it looks like, I saw in other areas there's speed limit 25, then there's a yellow sign right below it says children playing or something like that. So in my opinion, that two signs on each side of that intersection might alleviate the problem, but what is the problem in that intersection? Just some complaints from people that live there on speed or accidents? Or
there was a request to make that a four-way stop. Right now, it's a two-way stop. To make it a four-way stop, it would have to have the warrants, the traffic warrants per the MUTCD for that, which basically requires not a large traffic study, but a small traffic study involving traffic counts and any accident history.
Then how?
So basically, we included that one in with this larger study that we need done.
So we as a city can't add a sign without getting a study done? Is that what you're saying?
That is correct. Well, I can't, as a staff person, the board, with some legal liability, can make any recommendation they want on sign.
Well, I understand standards, like if you put a stop
Yes,
sign.
these would be standards.
It would have to be so high, so, back from the intersections. But if you had, and take the 132nd Corrington, for example, and I'm not trying to argue, Doug, I'm just trying to get a point across that if we had an accident in that intersection every day, we cannot go out and put another 2 signs up and make a 4-way out of a 2-way without.
If we had an accident out there every day, that would meet one of the warrants of the MUTCD. Now, we don't meet that warrant, but the other warrants would be traffic volumes in all 4 directions. That's where we need to go out and get some counts to determine if we have the warrants for a 4-way stop, or if those studies tell us that maybe it should be a 2-way stop in the other direction.
Have we ever ran any radar on Byers or on the other intersection or this? And do you
I
think
have not requested any of that myself. Whether that's been done prior to me, I don't know.
Further?
So are we going to put boxes that?
Hold up.
No.
Further
Go ahead.
questions?
Go ahead.
And Mayor, before we move on, Chief is here to
Okay.
Answer if have we done any radar in that area question.
I
And
don't have dates and times. I guarantee we run radar on Byers, 132nd Corrington, pipe questions.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, Chief. On High Grove, you guys took the billboard down, ran radar for a couple weeks, and it wasn't justified, so we moved out. I didn't have a problem with that.
Yep.
But we did everything possible that we could do, and that stop sign was put up. Now, I know that didn't come from a study. The city public works had to put that stop sign up. I mean, not a stop sign, it was a speed limit sign.
Speed limit.
And-
I
and
wonder.
That's where I'm getting a little confused.
Just to be clear, I think what Alderman Hartman is saying is the speed limit was different than a stop sign. What you're talking about here is do we need 4 stop signs or 2 stop signs? But what Alderman Hartman, what happened there on High Grove, I think was a speed limit.
Yes, and my suggestion
Yeah.
on the Corrington, previously when I was trying to explain that, if we put that speed limit sign up across from my house, why couldn't we put a couple on 132nd with a yellow sign underneath it? In fact, I took a picture of the sign that, there's in other areas, you've seen them. Children playing, it's got a,
Sure.
Caution or something like that on it. That might alleviate the complaints I just hate spending taxpayers' money on a study that if we could alleviate something ourselves, or at least try it before we go to a study. That's all I got.
Sure, yeah.
Go ahead, Dale.
Alderman,
So we're going to
Any
put a
questions?
box up that counts traffic going through this area, and who is responsible for monitoring this?
Well, we would hire a traffic engineer, and they would take counts. That can be done various ways, but basically you either put tubes out there that count cars and speeds, or there's radar-type systems that can be mounted out there to count cars and speed. So
we
there's
have
machines that do it.
Okay, so we have to hire someone to do that.
Correct.
Okay.
further discussion?
Just
Alderman Runyon.
on Myers, couldn't we put a, similar to what we have on Grandview Road, the flashing lights, says caution, dangerous intersection, without having to do a study? Because I don't think a 4-way stop really is warranted there, but I think there's caution to be done.
In my opinion, I feel we need to take a look at it thoroughly,
We can't do that internally?
not with the staff that I have, no.
Well, Alderman Runyon, we don't have a traffic engineer, and I want to point out 80% of the cost is coming from federal agency. That's one thing. That difference is, if let's say the total cost is $14,000, the difference is $2,000 and some change. That's a good insurance policy for us. If we do this internally, per se, and we missed it because we don't have the technical assets in-house, that would be a big liability for us. because we made that decision without the data supporting it, without the federal government funds working for us to get an engineer, traffic engineer, saying that this needs to be fixed and this is how you fix it. That's what Doug is trying to do. But at the end of the day, this is your decision, and this is free money.
Further discussion?
So it's mainly we just need a paper trail.
Data.
Paper data, okay.
Data. And Alderman Taylor, I will tell you this too. We do this with the buildings.
Yeah.
We know how to build these buildings because of our codes, because our inspector sees a lot of things. But until we see a cold stamp from an engineer, structural engineer, that project is not approved to build.
Yeah, I understand
Look at
that.
it from a perspective of insurance policy in this case.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But 2 stop signs,
Look, I'm not a traffic engineer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to convince you one way or another. All I'm saying is that it's an opportunity. These guys convinced the federal government to give them $11,000
I'm
to
with
study the intersection.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Okay. Alderman Taylor?
Aye.
Alderman Hartman?
No.
Alderwoman Bibbs?
Aye.
And Alderman Runyons?
No.
Motion for second reading.
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7747 be placed on the second reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
I second.
Thank you.
Bill number 7747, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a traffic engineering assistance program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the utilization of federal funds on intersections traffic study.
Further discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Hartman.
Can those intersections be changed for this money? Or you submitted these 2 particular intersections? So in other words, what I'm saying is, if I was looking at this from the outside, I'd say, are those the 2 worst intersections in Grandview that we're doing a study on? I know the one on Corrington, that's the one I have a problem with. That intersection's been in that Auburn Hills district for, what, 40 years, 50? There hasn't been a string of accidents. There has been no speeders per se. There's been a few complaints maybe about if people have children playing and riding bikes home from Meadowmere School or something. I understand that part. But I just have a problem on spending the taxpayers' money. Whether it's our couple thousand or federal money, it's still taxpayers' money. So if there was I might be persuaded if I could see.
Again, let's say the cost associated with doing the one four-way stop analysis at that intersection would be a minor part of this funding level. So let's say if the direction was to not do that intersection, just ignore the request, then the cost would decrease slightly.
For the Byers Road.
Yeah, because the majority of the analysis that we need done is at Byers, Food Lane, and Harry Truman. That we would have the engineer take a look at a number of things. We're having him take a look at the four-way stop analysis. There's some sight distance to the south. There's some striping that we want them to look at. Again, the 132nd in Corrington is a minor part of the scope.
Okay.
Further discussion?
Yep.
And Doug, from my perspective, thank you for at least going after the funding. I think that's important because that's what we should be doing.
Yeah, I guess the way we approach it is our primary scope was Food Lane, Harry Truman, and it's like, well, since we have an engineer on board and we have an opportunity to get some funding for it, let's include this one in because there was a request made, and that without doing a thorough analysis of it, could not give the residents any direction on what we could do there.
And as I said in the work session, I know Food Lane and Harry Truman very well since I know somebody that's got hit right there. T-bone pretty good. So, further discussion? Alderman Runyon.
Would this lead for further federal money on Food Lane? Or in Byers? And 100 and Truman Drive? Could we get more money if we did this study and we needed some type of traffic control there?
Well, let's say that the study indicates that, let's say there is some sight distance to the south, and in order to correct that sight distance, maybe the road needs to be lowered there. Then you're getting into, let's say, a much more significant Phase 2 project. And in that case, we would certainly go out and seek outside funding sources, whether it's state or federal, to address that, particularly as we're looking on funds to complete Harry Truman Drive from Food Lane out to Raytown Road.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Alderman Rennions, I was just going to say, the answer is yes, and in the past, we used this as a leverage. We said, you have given us money, and you studied these streets, and these are your studies, and we are applying for this grant through the federal organizations, right? And that's one of the check boxes. If this is something that they helped us out, figure out what the problem is, I'm not saying guaranteed you're going to get that fund that you go after, but it's one of the check boxes that we would fill.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor?
Aye.
Alderwoman Bibbs?
Aye.
Alderman Hartman?
Aye.
Alderman Runyon?
Aye.
Motion for final passage.
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
I move that bill number 7747 be placed on its final passage and said bill be enacted.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor.
Alderman Hartman.
I'll second that.
Bill number 77, oops. Alderwoman Bibbs. Final passage roll call, my bad.
Yeah.
Aye.
She started to read it, but she.
Just vote on
Okay.
it, Debbie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed that vote.
She said aye.
Aye, okay. Alderman Hartman?
Aye.
Alderman Runyons?
Aye.
And Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Ordinance number 7487.
So bill number 7747 has passed, is now ordinance 7487. Is there a motion for bill number 7748?
Thanks, Doug.
He's not going anywhere. Is there
I'm gonna
a
take
motion
his
for
wife.
bill number 7748?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
I move that bill number 7748 be placed on its first passage.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor.
Alderman Taylor.
I second.
Thank you.
Bill number 7748, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a supplemental number 8 letter agreement with Alfred Benesch and Company for inspection services for Raytown Road bridges over tributary to Longview Lake project and authorizing payment.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Mayor, what's the cost of this? Is this the $190,000?
Yeah,
Yes.
194,
920, there it
Yeah,
is.
this is for Alfred Benesch Company that did the design for us and took us through funding and then took us through bidding. This is the next phase, so it's a supplemental agreement for them to provide the inspection that's required from our funding sources.
So how much do we pay for design? This is,
There was the original contract in 7 supplemental, 300, well, prior to this, we're up $345,744. That was for preliminary studies, design, final design, and then going through the bidding.
and so the cost of the bridge for the contractor was what, $5 or $6 million?
Yeah, about $2,600,000.
Yeah, in the past, it used to be that the design engineers, they would do the inspection along with the city. Now it looks like we're having to pay an additional cost for them to come in and inspect something that they designed.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what the question was, but we felt the best way to, or it's been my experience, and I think it's very, that if you have the same engineering firm that inspects the project, that designed the project, it goes smoother through construction. That way, if there's any issues that come up with maybe some questions on the design, the inspector and the contractor can more easily go back to the designer to get clarifications.
But usually, the design engineer or architect is on site making sure their work is done correctly anyway, because they've already designed that, and now we're going to let them inspect their own work?
Well, yeah, the design contract requires, let's say if we had a different inspector, the design contract would require that the designer make an occasional visit to the site to see that it's going the way they had in mind. There would still be the requirement to have full-time inspection out there based on the type of construction. It's a bridge with drilled piers and
So they're going to be full-time,
yes.
on site all the time?
Yes.
That's right. So,
Yeah.
Alderman Runnions, normally this magnitude of project, which you're aware of, you have worked in that industry yourself too. What we're trying to do is make sure that what they design is properly built by the third party while they're advocating for us to get the best out of these builders, right? And they know their design a lot better than us because they designed it. This is a very technical work when it comes to water and bridges, and this is what they do.
Further discussion?
Yeah, Mayor.
Alderman Hartman.
I hope in the future that when we vote on a project like that, that this would either be brought up and talked about or included in what we vote on for the total project. You see what I mean, Jamal?
I got it.
We voted on that, and another question would be, how long did you think this project was going to take to build? Is it going to be 6 months, a year?
It's
a year.
It's a one-year project.
1 year.
And Alderman Hartman, if this is a design-build project, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
We could bring that to you, and you can see the whole thing because it's been the designing and building and inspecting is all in one entity
Yeah.
or the group. In this case, if you don't design it, you don't get funding for it. If you remember, we're getting this money through the MARC program. So it's designed. We went after funding. They're giving us the funding. Now we're taking. What I'm trying to get is that without the design, I can't tell you who's going to inspect the project. And if it's not funded, there's no point of bringing those guys in.
I
Does that make
understand.
sense?
Yeah, it makes all sense, Jamal. And you're more you and Kurt and Doug, you all deal with that
we watch
more
We
than I
watch it
do.
dime by dime.
I know, but I'm just saying you might mention that on the next
100%.
something like this.
100%.
Hey guys, now we're going to have this coming up
Absolutely.
in a couple months once we get a
If we don't design
builder.
it, we're
Yeah,
not going to.
I don't have a
That's
problem
what I'm
with it.
saying.
I don't have a problem with it.
We'll make that happen.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman.
Aye.
Alderman Runnions.
Aye.
Motion for second reading.
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7748 be placed on the second reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Runyon.
I'll second the motion.
Bill number 7748, an ordinance authorizing the execution of supplemental number 8 letter agreement with Alfred Benesch and Company for inspection services for Raytown Road bridges over tributary to Longview Lake project and authorizing payment.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion for final passage.
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7748 be placed on its final passage and said bill be enacted.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Runyon.
I second the motion.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Runnions.
Aye.
Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman.
Aye.
Ordinance number 7488.
So bill number 7748 has passed. It's now ordinance 7488. Is there a motion on bill number 7749?
Mayor,
Alderman Runyon.
I move that bill 7749 be placed on its first reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I second.
Bill number 7749, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a First Amendment to a cooperative agreement with Jackson County for construction and inspection services to the county's first pedestrian bridge replacement and rehabilitation on Raytown Road and restoration work to Longview Trail project.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Runyon.
this is, this is the two bridges over what will be a new little creek instead of the tunnel. But we're adding a pedestrian walkway across those.
Yes.
Correct.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Further discussion?
Yes.
Alderman Taylor.
I believe this bridge work is, what is it, maybe a block or two before you get to that intersection?
This is south of Harry Truman.
Harry Truman. Now, there's a walkway already there. So
Yeah.
why would we need another one?
Well, there's a long pipe that's failing, and the pipe, the northbound lanes, southbound lanes, and the trail all cross over the top of the pipe. So the pipe is being removed and there's actually two pipes there. They're being removed and replaced by a northbound bridge, a southbound bridge, and a pedestrian bridge.
Yep.
So it's, I think, a different way, and I think a more attractive way to accomplish the same result.
And safer.
Safer.
That too.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Runyons.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman.
Aye.
Motion for second reading.
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I move that bill number 7749 be placed on the second reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Runyons.
I second the motion.
Bill number 7749, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a First Amendment to a cooperative agreement with Jackson County for construction and inspection services to the county's first pedestrian bridge replacement and rehabilitation on Raytown Road and restoration work to Longview Trail project.
Further discussion?
Yes.
Alderman Taylor.
Could I ride my horse over this trail?
No, you can't
Just-
do that. Yeah. So,
It's got a bag. It has a bag, okay.
so further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion for final passage.
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
I move that bill number 7749 be placed on its final passage and said bill be enacted.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I second.
Okay.
Alderwoman Bibbs.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman.
Aye.
Alderman Runyons.
Aye.
Ordinance number 7489.
So bill number 7749 has passed. It's now ordinance 7489. We go to other business, and the only item we have is ratifying the cancellation of the December 26th Board of Aldermen session. Is there a motion?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
I move that we ratify the cancellation of the December 26th Board of Aldermen regular session meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Alderman Taylor.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the ratifying of the cancellation of the December 22nd Board of Aldermen meeting has been approved. And let's start with, on my left side, other business. Anything? We'll start with Alderman Taylor and work our way down.
No, sir.
Alderman Williams?
Just to comment, as much was on this meeting tonight, like 200 pages, it would be nice if we got that before Friday at 5 o'clock. Because it's a lot to go through over the weekend and Monday and then. Yeah. But it's a lot. I mean, even though we had partial parts of this in the work session, there was a lot more when we got.
Thank you. On the right side, any comments? We'll start with Alderwoman Bibbs and work our way down.
No? Good.
Yes.
Mayor, I've got a guy named John Collard. I don't know if any of you know him. He's texted me a couple times in the past. I've never met him, but I think he lives on 3rd Street. Let me read this real quick. It's about a homeless camp. I've watched the past few years, several homeless camps have sprung up in South Kansas City. Kansas City's been late in trying to deal with them. I'm a little alarmed to the same thing starting here in Grandview. There is at least one homeless camp in the woods on the east side of Cartwright Drive. I see homeless people walking up and down 3rd Street every day. Here's the problems I have with this. They contribute nothing to the community. Many of them are drug addicted and they attract drug dealers to the city. I frequently hear gunshots coming from that area. Several of the businesses and neighbors use lighting, fencing, and cameras to prevent crimes. All of the businesses next to the camp have chain link fencing. Trucks drive down into the field to the wooded area where the homeless camp is. They're back back just a few years ago. The city quizzed me about a motorhome used in a camp parked in my driveway. How did we go from that to this? I feel Grandview should be proactive with this before we end up like South Kansas City. In case of the property on the east side of Cartwright Drive, a chain link fence would be best answered, but because of the cost, owner may not want to do that. No trespassing, time enforcements, it might work. Thanks, John. The reason I read that and brought it up is I think that is in Grandview, and Chief, you're probably here. Is that on John Ying's property over there, 3rd and Greaves to the east, around behind, maybe all the way up to the access road? I'm not sure, but
On Martha Truman?
no, it's on
Or
third,
Uh-huh.
and Dr. Greaves, that intersection. And
Should be ours,
Cartwright
right?
runs on down to,
That'd be ours, right?
yeah, to the east. I think John Ying,
Well, part of that, I think, is Kansas City, as you keep
No.
going back.
No, not there.
no, I think
it's not-
it goes to Martha Truman
Right.
and then back to Grandview Road.
Right.
So that's all Grandview area.
Yeah.
Well,
But
because,
he-
where
go
is
ahead.
it from the pet place?
Wayside Way?
Wayside
Wayside
Ways.
Ways.
Because part of that is
That's
Kansas
the border
City.
right there. I mean, that's the line right there.
Yeah, that's
No,
the line.
I mean, I guess, no, it's east.
It's east of
East
that?
of
Okay.
Cartwright. East of
Okay,
Cartwright.
east of Cartwright.
South of the cemetery place
yeah.
there, and
Right.
yeah, it's in Grandview.
Okay.
But if he says he's hearing gunshots, I figured maybe the police department has been out there to investigate that. Do you know anything about that?
I can check on that one. I don't know if you've read my last couple of weeklies, but we've taken a pretty aggressive steps towards some of the other homeless camps in town, specifically the one by the cell phone tower on by the railroad tracks on Martha Truman there.
Right.
We're up there almost nightly and making several arrests. The ownership of that parcel next to the cell phone tower has submitted a land use, or what's it called, Doug, when they move the dirt? What's it called? A what? A grading permit, because they're going to try to move a lot of the trees out there where the
Yeah.
camps are in, and it's a mess up there. Another one is right behind Blue Sky, the old Sam's Club building. We've made several arrests out of there also, and are working with those business owners up on the Truman Farm complex there. But I can look into this one. The gunshot parts is not ringing a bell with me. I'm not saying they haven't happened, but I'll check with ours.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I could bring it up to you. Then that's one area I did drive today too, and there's broken bottles on Cartwright, which appears to be
from
homeless. Yeah, and then there was tracks just about the intersection of 3rd and Greaves. You'll see some truck tracks back to the woods back there. So he may be right. He may be here in shooting range. I don't know sometimes, but that's pretty loud too. But I told him just to call the police if he hears shooting.
Definitely.
That way you guys know.
Definitely.
I'll check with my staff. We have the benefit of having the 2 co-responders from Rediscover, and then they have a whole outreach group to try to get those that want the assistance help.
Yeah.
So they have an actual spreadsheet of all the known locations and the members within those camps.
Yeah.
They're somewhat migrating around a little bit, but I mean, we have a pretty good grasp on it. So I'll check with our staff and see if that's one of the locations they are aware of.
Do you mind sharing the email you have gotten with us so that we pinpoint the area?
Yeah, and remember when we went over and talked to John Ying?
Yeah, Boss
I
Industries.
think he owns that property. I'm pretty sure he owns that over there. You might check on that too.
Yeah, we will. We will. What I was going to tell you,
He
you know,
probably
on
is
our
not even
weekly,
aware of that.
on PD's weekly, we talk about this. Our stand is pretty firm on these type of encampments, and at the same time, property owners do have a liability too. Property owners do have a responsibility too. Just owning a property does not only make you a property owner, you need to take care of it too. So if this is Boss Industries,
Yeah,
we'll have a conversation with Mr. Ying too.
Yeah, or I'll call John. I know him personally. So
I do too.
But I don't know if that. Thought you might know where that camp is, but
If you forward that to me,
but I'll check with my staff.
if you forward that to me, we'll pinpoint it
Thanks
and
a lot.
circle back.
But I'm grateful, Chief, that not only having rediscovered corresponders, but I think there's a lot of compassion, and I do appreciate how Grandview does that. And if unfortunately there are some folks that don't want help,
There is.
and it is a reality. But those that do, at least there are some options, and I think I really do appreciate.
Yeah, and I don't
that.
think the solution is to arrest our way
Right,
out of it.
exactly.
I mean, that shouldn't be our first option. Is just to
Absolutely.
make an immediate arrest, take
Mhm.
them into jail, and then they're out
No.
within the day.
Right.
So we're trying to explore other options, but as
Sure.
everyone knows, it's an issue all across the country. But
Yeah.
we're working on it.
Yeah, compassion is still important.
yeah,
And
we
appreciate
definitely
that.
know that you
Yeah.
guys do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's appreciated.
Thank you.
Yes.
I live pretty close there. I think a lot of the gunshots are coming from Welcome Home apartment complex. It gets on 3rd Street and Cartwright Drive. It's there. I think you guys make a lot of trips over there.
We do respond to the gunshots fairly frequently, unfortunately. A lot of times people are just shooting them in the air and whatnot, but that doesn't make it right.
Exactly.
Sometimes they shoot
Absolutely.
off, you think it's a bomb.
A couple of things on the list. I think you heard on Saturday we've got breakfast with Santa, and Santa was here, so you've heard about that. We also have Wreath Across America is going to be on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, and that is at Longview Cemetery. And I know that you've been to Wreaths of America other places, so those of you available, that too is happening and should work out pretty well. So, staff, anything you guys have for us?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Okay, well, the time is 8:41. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Bibbs.
so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor.
Alderman Hartman.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we are officially adjourned at 8:42. Absolutely. Isn't that
Thanks
what
for
you
coming.
expect? Isn't that